This is lesson 2.4, adding integers. Atoms are made of negative charges called electrons. And positive charges called protons. The helium atom shown has a total of 2 electrons and 2 protons. Represent the electrons in an atom of helium with an integer. Because electrons are negative, this would be -2 to represent the electrons. The protons, because they're positive, would be represented with a +2. Each proton-electron pair has a value of 0. What is the total charge of an atom of helium? In this case, it's -2 plus +2, or 0. Adding integers with the same sign. Find -3 plus -2 using a number line. Start at 0. Move 3 units to the left to represent -3. Then continue 2 more units to the left to represent -2. The result then is -5. -5 plus -7 on the number line. We would start at 0. We would go 5 to the left. Then we would go another 7 to the left, which would represent -5 plus -7, or a sum of -12. In our second example, we would start at 0. We would go 10 to the left. We would then go another 4 to the left, both negative numbers. So -10 plus -4 results in a sum of -14. These and other examples suggest the following rule. To add integers with the same sign, add their absolute values. The sum is positive if they're both positive, negative if they're both negative. In the example, 7 plus 4, both positive integers. So the sum is positive. In our second example, -7 plus -4, because both integers are negative, the resulting sum is negative. Find -26 plus -17. -26 negative plus -27 is -43. Because both are negative, the sum is negative. In our next example, -14 plus -16, the resulting sum is -30 because both numbers are negative. Example D, 23 plus 38, the resulting sum is 61, positive because both numbers are positive. The integers 5 and -5 are called opposites because they are the same distance from 0 but on opposite sides of 0. Two integers that are opposites are also called additive inverses. Number lines can also help you add integers with different signs. In our first example, we're adding 5 plus -3, so we start at 5. We go, or 0, start at 0, go 5 to the right, then return to the left because our second number is negative. Our result then is +2. -3 plus 2, again starting at 0, going 3 to the left, representing negative, back 2 to the right, representing +2. So -3 plus 2 is 1. Using the number line at the bottom as a tool to do 6 plus -7, we're going to start at 0. We're going to go 6 to the right. We're then going to go 7 to the left. So our result would be (6) plus -7 is -1. negative 15. Starting at 0, going 15 to the left, representing negative. Back 19 to the right. Starting at 0, 15 to the left. Back 19 to the right. With the resulting sum of positive 4. To add integers with different signs, subtract their absolute value. The sum is positive if the positive integer's absolute value is greater, and negative if the negative absolute value is greater, the negative integer. In this case, 9, the positive integer has a greater absolute value, so the sum is positive. In this case, negative 9 has a greater absolute value than 4, so the sum is negative 5. 7 plus negative 1 would be 7 minus 1, which is 6, the result being positive because the positive 7 has a greater absolute value than the 1. In example 6, negative 8 plus 3 would be 8 minus 3 using absolute values because the 8 has a greater absolute value. The resulting sum is negative. In example number 7, what you see is use of the commutative and associative properties. We notice here that we have 2 and negative 2. If we change the order of the negative 15 and the negative 2 using the commutative property and then regroup the 2 and the negative 2, noticing that those are additive inverses, that gives us a result of 0. So then our sum is simply negative 15. Example G, we have 10 plus negative 12. The absolute value of 10 is 10. The absolute value of negative 12 is 12. 12 minus 10 is 2. The result negative because negative 12 has the greater absolute value. The absolute value of negative 13 is 13. The absolute value of 18 is 18. 18 minus 13 is 5. In this case, the sum is positive because 18 has the greater absolute value. In example I, we see that negative 6 and 6 to the right here are additive inverses. We know that their sum is 0, so we have negative 14 plus 0, which gives us negative 14 as a sum. The graphic shows a change in height at several points on a roller coaster. Write an addition sentence to find the height at point D in relation to point A. So we start at A, which is 0. We go up 20. We go down 32. We go up 16. We add the two positive integers together to get 36. We then add the negative 32. 36 minus 32 is 4. The answer is positive because 36 has the greater absolute value. The temperature is negative 3 degrees Fahrenheit. It drops 6 degrees, and 2 hours later it rises 4 degrees. Write an addition sentence to describe the situation, then find the sum and explain its meaning. So if we start at negative 3, we add negative 6, and then we add 4. In this case, we would add the two integers with the same sign, get negative 9 plus 4. The absolute value of negative 9 is 9. The absolute value of 4 is 4. Subtract the 2. The result is 5 because the negative 9 has the greater absolute value. Our sum is negative 5. We'll do just a couple examples here to save some time. We'll do number 1 because both signs are the same. Negative 6 plus negative 8 is negative 14. Number 3, where we have two integers with different signs, we will take the absolute value of negative 3, which is 3. The absolute value of 10 is 10. We do 10 minus 3, which is 7. The resulting sum is positive because the 10 has a greater absolute value. Number 5, 7 plus negative 11. Again, we would take the absolute values. The absolute value of negative 11 is 11. The absolute value of 7 is 7. 11 minus 7 is 4 in this case, because the negative number has the greater absolute value. Our resulting sum is negative. Number 7, we have negative 17 plus 20 plus negative 3. What we're going to do is we're going to use the commutative property to rearrange the addends. We're going to add the negative 3 to the negative 17 and then add the 20. So we're going to change the order of these two addends. Then we're going to regroup these two right here. Negative 17 plus negative 3 is negative 20 plus 20. We can see that those are additive inverses. Our sum then is 0. Number 9, Camila owes her brother $25, which we would represent with negative 25, because owes means negative. So she gives her brother the $18 she earned dog sitting for the neighbors. Write an addition sentence to describe the situation. We've just done that. Then find the sum and explain its meaning. Well, the absolute value of negative 25 is 25. The absolute value of 18 is 18. Subtract the 2. 7 is the result because the negative 25 has a greater absolute value. Our result is negative 7, which means Camila still owes her brother $7. These are the two vocabulary terms from Lesson 2.4. Opposites and additive inverses, they basically mean the same thing. They will be part of the vocabulary test that we're taking on October 26th. Students are responsible for knowing all the vocabulary in Chapter 2. At this point, you should quit the video, go back to my Moodle page, look for Lesson Quiz 2.4, and log in using your 6-digit student number and the first 5 digits of your last name and your 2-digit birthday.